Hi, my name is Jenny. Welcome to my channel, JK Star 8 Reader. Today, I'm doing a Friday Reads. These are the books I want to get to this Friday and into the next week. So let's get going. The first book I have to show you, it is The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. So I have shown this video a couple of times on this channel, and I can say at last that I have completed this book. It usually takes me a long time to read a book once I get it in my possession and in my home. And there are so many books that I have in my collection that I have still yet to read, even though I've had them for so long. And so this is a great accomplishment that I managed to read a book that was released in January, and I was able to complete it in the same month. So yeah, The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. So this is a fairly easygoing and laid-back story that follows best friends Emily and Chess. They go on vacation to a villa in Italy. They are spending the summer there together to renew their friendship, as well as find inspiration for their writing. And so when they're there, they encounter a mystery that dates back to the 1970s involving rock stars. And so far, this book, it reads the perfect read for a vacation when you're looking for what would be considered a slice of life sort of a story, where there's not too much of a thriller in the sense of a thriller or suspense mystery story. This is a more of a contemporary novel, and I would say this is an interesting story to read when trying to find a sense of comfort and escape on vacation after a time of harshness of reality of the last couple of years of COVID and having to deal with a medical crisis. And so this is a bit of a balm to read. Balm is BALM. A bit of a vacation read from the real world. And I found for that I guess I could give it a high rating, but this is the first book that I read by Rachel Hawkins, and I think I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. I do want to read books from the back catalog by this author. There are many titles listed inside this book, and so I should go through those again to get a better sense of Rachel Hawkins as a writer. But for now, this is a so-so a book for me. Yeah. The next book I have to show you, it is Woman at Sea by Catherine Poland. So this is another title that I was able to complete in the month of January, and I found this to be an interesting story, and I enjoyed the writing. For me, the writing had a rhythmic quality to it that opened my eyes to the life of fishermen who must live and work in harsh conditions, living in Alaska and having to follow the rules mandated by the government on this industry, as well as having the harshness of the working conditions of living and working as fishermen. In this story, it follows a young woman named Lily who travels away from her small village in France to Alaska, where she becomes one of the crew members of the fishing boats that she gets onto and works alongside other fishermen to catch the fish for market. And so at times this is a difficult and depressing story to read, but it is exhilarating at the same time, and knowing this is a lifestyle that some people do actively pursue, even when they might have other options for them. So yeah, Woman at Sea by Catherine Pullen. This is a translated story, and it is based on the life of the writer herself, who also traveled the world to many parts and worked as a fisherman or a fisher person for almost a decade in Alaska. So, yeah, Woman at Sea by Catherine Pullen. I think I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So the next book I had to show you, it is Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman. So the book that I showed just before now, Woman at Sea, it has a quote by Walt Whitman on near the front before the story begins. So I decided to go back to this poetry collection, Leaves of Grass by Walt Whitman, who is a renowned poet from the 19th century America. And so I read this book as part of an English class assignment a few years back, and I tabbed it quite a bit because I had because I found so many parts of the book to be interesting, turns of phrases and observations of life in the 19th century, and having to work in harsh conditions, making a living in the various communities that Walt Whitman traveled with throughout America, I guess. And so this is I guess my return to this poetry after a few years, now that a few years have gone by since I completed the English course. And so I am interested in how I will find the poetry now that some time has passed since that poetry course. And I guess now I want to see how my reading tastes after reading so many things since that English course, how I will approach this poetry now that I am a few years older. Yeah. The next book I have to show you, it is Mark Sakamoto's Forgiveness. This is a nonfiction title the author wrote about his family members from the Second World War. I guess on two family members who came together who you would think would not likely form a family. And so, yeah. So it says on the back cover, when the Second World War broke out, Ralph McLean chose to escape his troubled life on Magdalen Islands in eastern Canada and volunteered to serve his country overseas. Meanwhile, in Vancouver, Mitsue Sakamoto saw her family and her stable community torn apart after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. Ralph was captured by the Japanese army and would spend the war in prison camps, enduring pestilence, beatings, and starvation. Back in Canada, Mitsue and her family were expelled from their home by the government and forced to spend years eking out an existence in rural Alberta, working other people's land for $1 a day. Yeah, I guess a family story that dates back to the 1940s World War II and how it affects the current generation of this family by the author, Mark Sakamoto. So I guess in terms of thinking about war, I guess I have this might be a difficult subject to delve back into, even though it's something that is raised every year with Remembrance Day. And so I guess this book, I've been meaning to get around to reading it, and I made attempts before, but I finally am in the, I guess, in the place of my reading journey that I am ready to tackle this volume. So this book is The Sleepwalkers: How Europe Went to War in 1914 by Christopher Clark. So yeah, as I've said, I've made attempts to read this book before, but in all those times that I tried reading this, I would be drawn to other things and other books. So I guess now is the time as any to read this. I had a plan of reading World War One books, history books, that I have a collection of, but have still yet to read. And so this is the place I want to begin that reading goal of mine. And so, yeah, The Sleepwalkers: How Europe Went to War in 1914 by Christopher Clark, who is an Australian historian. Now, I guess after talking about, I guess, some stories that are harrowing and depressing, I guess for this last book of my Friday Reads, this is hopefully a more lighthearted story. And this is The Never Tilting World by Rin Chupeco. Chupeco, yeah, that's correct. This is a YA title about two sisters who rule two different sides of the world that they live in. This is a sci-fi fantasy story by the same author as The Bone Witch, which is a book that I've read before and would like to return to again at some point. But this is a YA title and my library book pick of the week, and I've been showing a library book every week, and I've been meaning to get to reading the library books that I have, but that goal of mine has not been very successful. So hopefully I'll have the time to get to this book this week. I've had it for a number of weeks now, and there are a few more left before I actually have to return this to the library, so I'm glad I have it now, and I'm making time for it. So yeah, The Never Tilting World by Rin Chupeco. And two more books. Now that I'm done my Friday Reads portion of the video, I have my mini haul portion of the video. And there's only two books to show you this time. So this book is Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. So I recently saw a theatrical production of Murder on the Orient Express. I've never had an interest in reading anything by Agatha Christie before, but now I do after seeing that excellent performance. And so yeah, this will be the first book that I will be reading by this famous author Agatha Christie, and I hopefully this will be a new interest of mine to reading more books by this author. I know there is a long list of books that is part of this book, and I do want to explore it at some time. But I guess this is where I will be starting. Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. And one more book, and this book is Hamnet by Maggie O'Farrell. So I guess there are times that I am really interested in reading books by and about Shakespeare, and there are times when I want to take a break from it. And so I guess now is the time to renew my interest, as this is a book that was a book club pick for the book club that I am part of in my neighborhood, and I didn't get a chance to read the book at when it was the book club pick for the month, but I guess now a few months later I have an interest in this book again. So yeah, Hamlet by Maggie O'Farrell, which I guess looks at William Shakespeare before he became Shakespeare, as in when he was younger and still growing up and still learning to become a playwright. So yeah, Hamlet by Maggie O'Farrell. Okay, that's it for me for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you again sometime soon. Bye!